What's up, Lego builders? Welcome back to Coconut Brick Studios for episode 1 of building Jabiim and Lego. I'm sure a lot of you guys have been wondering where on earth this series is or if it's even happening, because I announced it well over a month ago before Kato Nemoidia was even finished. I wanted to do that to kind of get you guys excited and thinking about what was coming next to the channel. And also I had finished Genos, the second battle of Geonosis, a little ways before Kato Nemoidia was done. So I wanted to get the next side mock project announced and figured out so I could be thinking about it and planning it. And I just kind of wanted to enjoy Kato Nemoidia, focus on that, get it taken apart, especially because a lot of the pieces that were on Kato Nemoidia I need for Jabiim because they have a similar coloration. And the 16 by 16 base plates that held up the city are going to be used for the base of Jabiim, so obviously I needed those before I could start. But speaking of building, this episode is not going to have a ton of building, just to let you guys know right off the bat. Because I announced it such a long time ago, I want to do a bit of a refresher to kind of show and remind you guys what exactly is going to be going on with Jabiim and what exactly Jabiim is. I just figured the more information I give you guys now, the more you guys will enjoy and understand the series moving forward, and it'll kind of help me get me back into the mind frame of Jabiim and what I want to do, and kind of help me, refocus and re-envision what I want this series and mock to be. All that being said, if you are excited to finally see some progress on Jabiim happen, don't forget to execute Order 66 on that like button. And while you're down there, if you haven't already, consider subscribing so you don't miss out on future updates to this mock series. So this episode, like I said, is going to be a lot of planning. However, there will be some building. I want to get into the minifigures this episode because I do have those, and I have a haul coming in with some special parts that I need to build. Some of the minifigures that will be on the Separatist side of things. All that being said, I have a lot to show you guys. Let's get started. All right, I am going to kick this week off with a little bit of a refresher for you guys because I'm sure it's been a while since people have seen this, and there are also people who are learning about Jabiim for the first time. So this is kind of a rough outline / drawing of what I want to do. Very rough. I'm not a great drawer, but this is what the main shape of the mock's going to look like. I wanted to go with something kind of oval-like with a few little parts that jut out on the sides. So it's going to be pretty big, about 3 feet long and about 2 feet wide. And I would like to build this, pretty high up off the ground. So this is going to be a ravine right here, and there's going to be a wall, basically the entire length of this mock, built up maybe about like 10 bricks or so. I'm not really sure how high I want to do yet. And then this main part right here is going to be the upper area. This is where the base is going to be. This mock is called the Ambush of Shelter Base, which is basically what it sounds like. It's an ambush. So you've got the Republic Shelter Base right here. This is kind of like their main base of operations at the beginning of the assault on Jabiim. And they get ambushed by a bunch of Separatist droids and by some local forces. So they're going to be up here, and then you're going to have the base down over here. I would like to include an ATTE in the mock. It is featured in the actual ambush. I'm not sure I'll be able to fit it on the mock. Once I kind of get the size and build out the dimensions of the mock for real, I'll be able to see that better. Over here is kind of what the main base is going to look like. So you can see it's pretty rectangular. Nothing too fancy. And then you've got a shield generator here on the back, or what looks like a shield generator, and that's what this is going to look like. That's what this is. Basically looks like that shield generator from episode 5 on the Hoth base. So that's pretty much everything you guys need to know for like what the mock is going to look like for now. My main piece of reference that I'm going to use for this mock is this comic, Star Wars Republic, Battle of Jabiim Begins. This is a 3-part series. I got the first comic just because this comic pertains to the particular scene I'm building, which is the ambush. This guy right here, Alto Stratus, is kind of like the main bad guy for this miniseries, and these are his Nimbus Commandos, the local militia that I was talking about. They're like his personal guard. And after I'm done showing you guys this, I'm actually going to show you a haul where I bought some parts to build these and how and what parts I got to best represent what these guys look like. So it'll be a mix of these Nimbus Commandos droids. I'm not sure if I'm going to include him yet or not. This is the reference picture I have for the shelter base. You can see there's an ATTE right there. That's kind of that main base I drew out. Then you can see there's that shield generator looking thing. And then down here we got the tents and other containers and buildings. And then there are the Separatist forces up there. This battle is kind of similar to Umbara, where the locals are not on the same side as the Republic, and they're going to be going up, and the clones are going to be going up against both the local forces and the Separatist droid army. Here's my haul. Now, there won't be a whole lot of these hauls for Jabiim because I have the majority of the pieces already. It's actually one of the reasons why I ended up going with Jabiim, is I felt like it would be a very cost-effective mock and would just help me save and be able to focus and prepare for the next big one. So actually a lot of these pieces are for the next big mock. But let me pull out what's for Jabiim. So you can see the haul is much smaller now. But I got some good stuff, some very important stuff, and some of those are these minifigure parts. So These are the parts to build the Nimbus Troopers. I wanted to get these built pretty early on so I could get a good idea of what they were going to look like, and so I could use them in thumbnails and stuff. And the minifigures are really the main thing that I don't have for this mock, apart from like a few pieces and like some canvas tents. So I wanted to get started on these early. I've got this red torso. This is actually the Naboo Starfighter pilot torso, and then these aren't the actual legs that I wanted to use. They just happened to be in the Bricklink store, and they looked similar to what I want to use. So I decided I'd pick them up and use them on a couple of the troopers. And then over here in this, we've got some olive green tiles. This is going to be for like a kind of industrial storage container or some kind of storage compartment where the clones keep ammunition and other supplies. So that's pretty much it for the haul. What I'm going to do now is put these guys together and kind of explain why I went with the colors and parts that I did. I want to get a couple of these Nimbus Commandos put together to kind of show you guys what I want them to look like. So the official image that you see in the comic shows them with like some kind of red upper torso, some kind of like red cloak or military coat with some blue pants on, like a utility belt, grenades, that kind of like soldiery stuff down around the waist. And then these kind of almost medieval looking helmets on the top with like an orange glow coming out of them. So I did my best to kind of recapture the colors. Obviously Lego's never made these minifigures, so there's going to be no torso or legs to match exactly what they look like. But I looked on Bricklink, and this torso and these legs were kind of like what I found match them the best. Each of the Commandos has this large backpack looking thing on with like an antenna and like a capsule or something on the back of it. So I did my best to create a Lego version of that backpack, and that's what you see on the back of these Commandos. I couldn't find any trans orange heads that were cheap, so I'm using these trans red ones, and I'm hoping they kind of capture the similar look that you would get with the trans orange head. Now that I've got those Nimbus Commandos all put together, I can give you guys a first look at all the minifigures that are going to be used in the mock. So we've got the two Commandos over here. Overall, I'm pretty happy with how they look. The one thing I don't like is the trans red head. I thought it was going to glow a little bit more, or at least look a little bit more red. You can see it basically looks like they've got a black head in there, which is annoying because if in the comic it looks like they've got like a more like a lit up orange visor. So I'm going to need to adjust that, figure out what I'm going to do there to make it glow a little bit better in there and at least look like it has some more color. Then of course we've got the classic B1 battle droid, B2 battle droid, super battle droid that you'll see thrown into the mix on the Separatist side of things. As for their leader goes, I showed you guys what he looks like already, Alto Stratus or whatever his name is. I only have a couple of reasons for not wanting to include him in the mock. The first is I think it's kind of dumb that he fights with a short sword and a shield. Like I know it's Legends, like a little bit more obscure, out of the norm for Star Wars stuff. And I guess it's kind of cool. It just looks a little weird to me, and like I'm going to have to take the time to find an accurate shield and an accurate sword. Then he's got like these little hover boots on, as well as finding him like a good red cloak / cape looking thing. I'll probably end up putting him together much later on in the series. He's not a huge priority for me right now. Now, for the Republic side of things, this is kind of like the beginning or early stages of the Clone Wars. So the clones are still using their Phase 1 armor, and I'm really excited for this mock because this is the first time I get to use the realistic Phase 1 clone trooper in a decently sized mock. Which is kind of funny considering it's one of my all-time favorite clone troopers, and I'm just now using them in a mock for the first time. Anakin Skywalker is also present on the base. He's got his brown robes and his hood up. Really excited to use him. He looks really cool. This is actually the Episode 2 Anakin, the one that comes with the 2013 gunship. I just threw the hood and cloak on him and took his hairpiece off. There is one other potential Jedi that I will be including in the mock, and that is Jedi General Aubrey right here. I've never seen or heard of her before. I honestly know nothing about her. I'll have to do some more research. It shouldn't be too hard. I'll probably just use like some brown Kieti Mundi robes and then buy another hood piece, and then just try and find some head that kind of remotely matches her since Lego didn't build an official version of her. So her and Anakin and the clones are the ones holding down the shelter base when it gets ambushed. I think that's everything for this update. It's time to hit the outro. I hope you guys enjoyed episode 1. I do apologize. That was a bit of an information dump. I tried to keep it fun and interesting, and now that all of that's out of the way, I can really get down and focus on the building. And because I have most of the parts for Jabiim, that means I don't have to wait on parts to do progress, so I can have good solid progress updates for you guys each week. Next week in particular, I'm going to be laying out the base plate or frame, bottom frame of the mock, the kind of the shape I want it to look like, as well as starting to figure out how exactly I'm going to go about building it up and how high I want to make it. All that being said, Thank you guys so much for watching episode 1. Don't forget to let me know what you think about this series down below in the comments. If there's any questions, concerns, anything at all, drop them down below. I love interacting with you guys there, and I will catch you next time. But until then, happy building.